You have likely seen this picture floating around your social media feeds. It is usually accompanied by a caption claiming it is the clearest image ever taken of Venus, showing a rocky landscape sitting under a hazy, bright yellow sky. It is a compelling image because it gives us exactly what we want. We possess a deep human desire to visualize alien worlds the same way we experience our own, with familiar horizons and clear sightlines. This picture is actually a lie, or at best a highly manipulated digital composite that masks its true, much stranger origin. Uncovering the raw pixels used to build this fake reveals a story from 1981 and a doomed mission to an incredibly hostile planet. The truth of how these fragments of light were actually captured is far more audacious and scientifically significant than the fake we have been sharing online. Decades after the initial mission, a researcher took the raw, heavily warped telemetry data and wrote a custom C++ program to flatten the severe perspective distortion. He brought the pieces into Photoshop to stitch them together, filling in the missing gaps by cloning available textures to complete the landscape. Even after all that digital manipulation, the resulting image was entirely black and white. That striking bright yellow sky was painted on much later by an entirely different person. The original data actually comes from the Soviet Venera 13 lander. When it touched down in 1981, it beamed back fragmented, highly distorted black and white panoramic scans of its immediate surroundings. Translating the fragmented data sent back by the probe into a recognizable landscape required a massive digital reconstruction. Those grainy, distorted photos from 1981 remain our best surface views because of Venus's impenetrably hostile atmosphere. This chart compares Earth's average surface temperature to Venus. A dense blanket of carbon dioxide traps the sun's heat, pushing ground temperatures to 880 degrees Fahrenheit. The planet also features crushing atmospheric pressure and hurricane-force winds laced with sulfuric acid. The atmosphere is so thick that small meteors simply burn up before they can even strike the ground. The surface itself is a barren expanse of rock, completely repaved by ancient volcanic eruptions. Landing there is a suicide mission. The Venera 13 was built to withstand intense punishment, but it survived for barely 2 hours before the environment crushed and melted its circuits. Any attempt to conduct standard visible light photography on that surface comes with a strict, inescapable 2-hour expiration date. Because dropping a camera onto the ground is effectively impossible to sustain, modern science had to find an entirely different way to map the planet. NASA solved this with the Magellan spacecraft, an orbiter that successfully mapped 98% of the Venusian surface in the early 1990s. Instead of using optical lenses that would be blinded by the clouds, Magellan bounced radar waves down through the sulfuric acid haze to measure the contours of the rock below. We keep circulating that heavily edited yellow image online because it looks like a familiar desert. It provides a comfortable, easily digestible view of a place we want to intuitively understand. But the actual reality is found in those curved, grainy black and white slivers of light transmitted by a melting robot in its final moments. The viral edit might be prettier to look at, but the raw data represents one of the hardest-won achievements in the history of space exploration.